Let's face it, Ted Danson didn't need a new gig. He's been one of the most successful TV actors of the past 20 years. I'll let Ted tell you why he got caught up in Curb. Here's Ted. So can we start with when you first got exposed to Curb Your Enthusiasm and how?
I like you said got exposed because it is a little bit like an illness. So that's good. That's a good start. Like a virus, a really bad virus. I'm Mary, my wife Mary Steenbridgen, and I met Larry on Martha's Vineyard. I think they were renting a home there, and he had just shot the pilot, I think, and he showed a group of us, in this little rental house halfway up the attic stairs because it got the best reception or something, and we were all kind of crowded around this kind of little hot room, some of us on stairs, and looked at the pilot. And I'm overjoyed to tell you that a couple of people fell asleep. That just tickles me. But it was amazing. It was clearly like, wait, what is this? And I have to admit, this is the funny part, because let me throw in that, Larry David kind of changed my career for the better. So I am forever in his debt, and Mary and I adore him. But I watched it going, oh, Lord, I don't know about this. Well, he seems like such a nice guy. Let's be supportive and tell him that we'd love to be on it anytime he needs us to play ourselves or whatever. And that'll never happen because the show sucks. It's become, this phenomenon worldwide that changed my life. So, but my first reaction was, oh boy, my poor new friend. So that's how we kind of got exposed. And then lo and behold, he did call us, and it really changed things for me. I'll speak for myself, but it was like, I think I had recently been in a show that was canceled, and so it was like about my 20th year of doing half-hour sitcoms, and I thought, oh, I'm burned out. I'm not funny. I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to quit. I'm going to just do movies, no more of this. And going there and just having pure kid-like fun with Larry just kind of re-energized me in this wonderful way. So there you are.
Were you taken aback by the fact, though, that unlike most of the work you've done, you weren't handed a script?
No, I got that. I liked that. That was fun. They work on the story for months. He'll spend 3-4 months or whatever writing with by himself and with some friends and writers. And, it's a typical comedy writing room setup where you break the overriding arc of the season. You break each episode, and then it's all up on the, on cards or a chalkboard or something, so that a normal show, you would break it down like that, and then when you had every beat worked out, you'd hand the episode to a writer and say, okay, go write the dialogue, that everything, was worked out. But he just doesn't hand it to a writer and say, go write the dialogue. So everything is done and worked out and thought out, except the actual words. So you show up, and, depends on how much you want to know or need to know. A lot of times I would just tell me, oh, I see, it's a fundraiser for NRDC, and I gave money anonymously, and then told people, secretly told some people that I was anonymous so that I would get the praise and the glory.
That was so great.
And then you go play, and like all improvisation, half of it sucks, but then, you do one take and it's embarrassingly bad, and then you go, he will say, all right, or someone or the director will say, okay, that worked, but don't say that, don't go there because that's a bad place to go, but that was funny, do that. And so by about the third or fourth time that you've done a take, you've kind of improvised a script in a way. So it's so much fun.
How did you decide where the line between Ted Danson, the human being, and Ted, the character in the show, or was there any kind of disparity?
I'm sure Larry would say he uses me, he asked his friends, what annoying thing does Ted do? Because one season I was just the asshole of the season. Everyone thought I was an idiot and a fool. And so he thought, I never do that. And he would go around asking friends, what does he say that's just annoying? Someone would say, he's always saying heaven. He uses the word heaven all the time. So, things like that would pop up in a script. But then that's the joy of, a comedy, that kind of style of comedy. It's like, you can't wait to throw yourself under a bus. If it's funny, you'll do anything to make yourself be even more of an idiot than you really are. But really, your function on the show is just one thing. It's to force Larry into a corner so that he finally explodes and comes out more Larry. Because when he's more Larry, he's hysterical. So you really are acting a function, not, a character, really.
Well, I thought you did a brilliant job of that in the Freak book. You're unrelenting until he just started to get so annoyed. I just loved that dynamic between the two of you in that episode.
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, he really turned situation comedy on its ear, and opened things up, I think. Granted, it was cable, so you could say and do and show more. But it really kind of forced everybody, the networks, everybody, to take a second look, and go, wait a minute, we're too predictable. The audiences are willing to be delighted and surprised and go, further. And I think you're seeing that now. And I do think that a lot of it traces back to Larry.
Do you think that there was a time early on when you started to realize just how much freedom you had in terms of what you were going to say and how you were going to respond to him?
No, I mean, the truth is, I realized early on that it was no different than really going out to dinner socially with Larry in real life. Because, first off, Larry is one of those rare people who did stand-up and is a comedian and a writer. A lot of times those people can be selfish with their own laughter. They're the funny person, and you laugh at them. He delights in other people around him being funny. So it's so much fun to make Larry in real life laugh. If you make him laugh, it's like music to your ears. It just feels so good. So you go out to dinner with him in real life, and you basically spend the evening, or at least I do, trying to find new ways to insult him to make him laugh, or say something that makes him laugh. And so that's basically what you do when you go to work. And, it's kind of no different.
Are you ready to make your next move? Well, Squarespace wants to be with you when you do. Squarespace gives people a powerful and beautiful online platform from which to make their next move known to the world. With Squarespace, people can lock down their ideas with a unique domain, create a website to launch their idea, a portfolio to get their project out there, and an online store to officially open for business. There's so much that Squarespace can do for you. So what are you waiting for? Make your next move with Squarespace. Create a beautiful website or online store with award-winning templates. There's nothing to install, patch, or upgrade, ever. And Squarespace offers award-winning 24/7 customer support with fully transparent and simple to execute setup. Squarespace is used by a wide range of creatives, people, and businesses. Use offer code ORIGINS for 10% off your first purchase of a website and domain. That's offer code ORIGINS. And make your next move with Squarespace. Sometimes you actually are one of the few characters who, for lack of a better word, the fortitude to stand up to him and show him just how crazy something he said or what he's doing is.
No, I agree. I think we found this kind of fun love-hate relationship. It was fun to play off of.
It's not like you're his moral compass, but you're sometimes almost like the voice of us, the audience, by saying, no, you don't say that or you don't act like that.
Well, I mean, truly, if you go Larry, he is so, first off, let me counterbalance all these insulting things I'm saying about Larry by saying that Mary one evening we were all out or something, and she said to Larry, I don't remember what the conversation was that led up to this, she said, if I were ever in trouble, real trouble, you would be one of the first people I would call. And it almost put tears in his eyes. He was so moved by that. But it was true. That's how she feels about Larry. He is this weird combination of the most socially selfish, awkward, you show up to dinner and he's already halfway through his entree because he's changed his mind and actually wants to go do something else. He refuses to go to people's house for dinner because he feels trapped. If I go to your house for dinner, I have to sit there politely. So he's this combination of like excruciatingly, embarrassingly to most of us, socially, but at the same time he has this incredible, astounding heart, and you just kind of delight in being around him. But it's so easy to insult him. It's so easy to pick on him because he is so selfish, and on the show he plays that up, to the hilt more than Larry really is. But it's fun to just kind of pick on that,
I was struck by the fact that you said that it had changed your career. I mean, given your body of work previously, Ted, you were kind of marching from success to success. Why is Curb different in your mind, or why do you think it became such a...
I just think that I had reached a point where I felt like I was repeating myself, that other people were way funnier and way better at, comedy, and I think I had a show canceled that I was in, and I think I was slightly demoralized and thought, I'm going to just go back to doing movies. I don't care, how small, I'll start over, whatever. And this came along as a lark. It was almost like doing summer theater, or even less important than that. It was just so unimportant. You'd show up in your car, he'd call you the day before and say, what are you doing tomorrow? You're calm down. And you bring your own clothes, and they'd slap a little makeup on you, and then you'd go jump in front of the camera and play. So it was like no stress, none. So it just became this fun game that he was carrying the load, and you got to play along with him. So I just found that my sense of fun and my delight in acting got rejuvenated, and also it taught me something I think important. I think that up until that point, I was always looking for the lead, or if somebody would offer me something where the money or the lead or the whatever, and I realized, wait a minute, I'm focusing on the wrong end of this. I need to find the most creative person in the room. Wait till they write something and want to do something that's is so authentic because it's just coming out of them. And then ask them very nicely if I can be part of that. And I don't care how big the part is or small the part is. Let me just be part of this creative thing that's bursting out of you. And if you do that, you're likely to get into something that is really authentic and different and interesting. And when you're around really creative people, it just feeds you. It feeds your soul, your artistic soul. So he did that for me. And then right after that, Damages came along and was beautifully written and amazingly creative people, and attracted people like Glenn Close. And, it was just a group of, these three writers who were just astounding, and the part I took in that was very small, that grew into something else. Bored to Death, another amazing writer, with amazing actors already attached to it. And my part was really small, and it grew into something else. But it was like, just find creativity and get into that flow. And that came from Larry.
Parachute sheets are the softest and most comfortable sheets you'll ever own. And why is that? Well, simply put, it's because they're made from the very best fabrics. Parachute sheets have a clean, minimalistic style that come in neutral colors, so they work perfect in any bedroom. And the best part of Parachute is that their sheets get softer with time. Plus, if you're a person who wants to make an impact on the world, and frankly, who doesn't, then Parachute is the company for you. They've partnered with the United Nations Foundation to donate malaria prevention bed nets, and they've already donated 16,000 so far. Here's another great part of the story. Parachute offers a 60-night trial, so if you don't love your sheets, you just send them back, no questions asked. Now, if you're wondering how that makes a positive impact on the world, well, all returns are donated to Habitat for Humanity, and that's a great cause. So don't wait. Visit parachutehome.com/origins for free shipping and returns. Again, that's parachutehome.com/origins for free shipping and returns. It doesn't get any easier. It's time to get better sleep with Parachute. The schedule for Curb is hardly predictable, and most seasons he says he's done with. So do you miss Curb when you're not doing it?
No. I love saying that. I've been very complimentary of Larry up to this point. No, it's you know. No, it's just, I don't know. It's just this wonderful, thing that drifts by you periodically.
But you keep on saying yes.
Yes, of course. I will always say yes, because it's too much fun. But, he's my friend. So when he wants to go off and do movies and write a play and go act on Broadway, then how wonderful for him, So it's not like I miss anything. It's just I'll go watch what he's doing next.
Not to test your memory, but is there one scene in any of the all the episodes that you did that you could kind of take us into, or something that either was memorable for you? Or
yes, here's my favorite scene. I wasn't in it. Usually is better because otherwise I judge myself too harshly and I'm not even looking at the scene. But my favorite scene, I think it was the Seinfeld reunion year.
Yeah.
And he and Jerry had a writing assistant or a secretary or something who had a wonderful actress, wonderful, brave actress, who was wearing these crop top.
Oh my gosh, that was brutal.
Revealing her belly. And in one of the final scenes, he starts to fall off, perhaps to his death, from this building because she's run up and surprised him or something. And he reaches out as he's falling and grabs her belly fat and hangs onto her belly fat and saves his life. That's oh my God. It was so wrong. So wrong.
It was so wrong. Oh my God. That's great. Well, I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No. Thank you so much. Safe travels. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this Origins original. Please be sure to subscribe to Origins for new chapters every month, along with other Origins originals and Origins conversations. Thanks so much. For Origins, I'm Jim Miller.